Hey, EDCI 703 candidates, my seminar dissertation candidates. This is week 5 in your summer course, and I know that you're focusing and should be focusing an awful lot on the evidences that you're creating for your 704 course. And so I've kind of deleted and moved some things around while trying to retain the big picture of the uh, while keeping you going on your dissertation. And in the big picture, take a look at the course calendar here with me. And if you see up top, well, the big things that you're to do this summer in 703 are to work on that focus topic list. You've done that. Work on your CITI certification. And that's coming up soon to be submitted into TaskStream. I think everybody is in there now, so continue work on that. You were to work on the annotated bibliography, so you should be reading and continuing to read along with 3 dissertations. As you look at those 3 dissertations, there's an assignment to outline the chapter 2 of those 3 dissertations. Chapter 2 is the literature review, and so the big idea in summer is to kind of wrap your head around what is a literature review. And a draft outline of your chapter 2 is due this summer. Now that seems pretty early, but again, it's an outline. And what we want you to see is that in the typical 5-chapter educational dissertation, chapter 2 is a literature review. You'll start your literature review now, and hopefully, if you do know a topic, and several of you are getting pretty close to nailing down your topic, then there are probably several subtopics and that will become the headings and the subheadings in your literature review. Example, Jody is interested in Leader in Me. Well, I hope that she's reading widely in Leader in Me, as well as learning about how to do an in-depth program evaluation. She's proposing to do a program evaluation of Leader in Me in her school and other schools in the district. As such, her literature review is going to need to dive deeply into Covey and the literature about Leader in Me. It's also going to need to explain something more about program evaluation and do a deeper dive than Fitzpatrick, or if it's, yes, Fitzpatrick, about what program evaluation is and some different models of program evaluation. Maybe there are other topics, but those are 2 broad topics that need to be reflected in her literature review. And if we look at Leader in Me, perhaps there are other programs that are meant to build character and to do character education in middle schools or in schools in general. So character education might be another topic in her literature review. Those need to be outlined, and it's not much more than that. So just kind of an example there, but you're reading dissertations now, and show us that you know that with these outlines, literally an outline of the heading of those other dissertations. Then it also asks you to give a little bit of feedback about how they vary, how they're the same. Approach it that way, please. How are they the same? How are they different? And comment briefly in that. It's not meant to be a term paper. It's meant to be the outlines of 3 dissertations with some feedback about them. So we're here in week 5, and I want to show you my view and show that I have closed some other discussion board posts. I don't want you to spend a lot of time working on all of these different aspects of collaboration. I didn't see a whole bunch of collaboration happening in the first go round. So if you have not done that, please post your article and share it with someone else. You should try collaborating with at least one other. And it certainly is very, very helpful when you share resources with someone else. Others may have read different dissertations, different articles, and have resources to share with you. And since many of you are on similar topics about discipline or about character education or about teacher efficacy, make sure that you're sharing with one another what are some of the advantages and barriers to collaborating like this. Well, again, I've shut down the week 5 second collaboration. So go back and make sure you've done that the first go round. I do want you to understand what a literature review is. So here is a link to these resources and resources about the literature review in particular. And spend some time in here, please. Spend some time reading this stuff, reading about a literature review and maps or concept maps. How many sources do you need? It's all good stuff. And I would like you to spend some time there this week reading that. I believe that it will inform you on your literature review and also on this assignment that's coming up with the dissertation summaries. So make sure that you've read that stuff. Do read chapter 4 in Butin about the literature review. I've duplicated this a couple of different places. And the outlines of chapters of 3 dissertations. Chapter 2, the literature review, is usually chapter 2. Chapter 1 is usually your introduction, your research questions, the problem statement. Chapter 2, the lit review. Chapter 3, the methodology. That's your proposal. So again, make sure, this is a 1-credit seminar class, folks. Don't put all your eggs in this basket, please. Do put your major eggs into that 704 basket and make sure that you're completing your CNAB and the PEB and working toward your PLP as well. So spend time on those and get to this stuff, please. The CITA certification is coming up, and in week 6, those second chapters of the chapter 2s are coming up. Okay, so I'm going to close a couple of items in week 6 as well, asking you to respond and talk about the purpose and structure of the literature review, how it's organized. I believe that some of this is duplication, and so you will not see that in your week 6 content. I've turned it off. But you will be loading your chapter 2s next week, and then later you will be loading an outline of your chapter 2. Even if you don't know a whole lot about where it's going, based on what you've learned about those outlines, you will later be asked to outline your proposed chapter 2. Not write a 30-page literature review now. That will come later, but an outline at least so that you know where you're headed. So that's a little bit of a preview, and I hope an answer to a question that I had this past week about the assignments. You will be loading 3 chapter 2s, and you will be outlining a possible lit review for your research interest soon. Hang in there and work on those evidences, please. Thank you. Have a great week.